Bells, bows, and gifts. For some people, these images will be sharp reminders of the distance grown between them and important family members.
So estrangement is a process really in which a family member creates distance, greater distance between them and other family members.
Sarah Shappy Sullivan is a professor in the Department of Psychology at The Ohio State University.
Some estrangements are like a total cutoff, where there's no contact between the family members, but others are just a distancing and reduction in contact. So there's kind of a range when we talk about estrangement.
What is the percentage of people right now in our modern world who feel like they are estranged or who declare themselves as being estranged?
Sure. It's been hard to develop those kinds of estimates until relatively recently. And this is not my research, but it's research out of Cornell University, indicating that this was the first large-scale national survey of estrangement. And the figure quoted is that 27% of Americans 18 and older reported that they had cut off contact with a family member. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a parent. It could be a sibling or it could be extended family members.
What's the holidays going to mean for these people?
Yeah, for parents who are estranged from their children, and that sometimes that also means they're estranged from their grandchildren. The holidays are very, very difficult, very challenging, because it brings up a lot of feelings of sadness, anger, grief, and also shame. Talking about estrangement can be difficult for folks, or folks don't want to, say, well, I haven't spoken to my daughter or my son or I haven't seen my grandchildren because we're not talking. And so advice for, parents who are estranged from their adult children is to, that you don't owe anyone an explanation for, why you haven't seen your children or grandchildren. You can try to change the subject. Like, you don't have to go into depth on the situation if you don't want to, just because people are casually around the holidays asking more about get-togethers with families and things like that.
What happens to people who do want to talk about their grief and loss? Perhaps it's a new estrangement.
Sure, I think that a friend could support someone going through estrangement by listening and taking a non-judgmental stance, which can be very difficult. And just trying to empathize with the person. I think just listening and kind of reflecting back to the friend about what they're going through without judging. I think that's important, and without providing advice, like, you need to call your daughter up right away and apologize, or you need to do this, or you need to do, like, just try to listen, not without providing, without casting, without judging, and without providing necessarily without the stance that you ought to be solving a problem, but just listening to them.
So what if you're in the position of being somebody who wants contact during the holidays and you have an estranged relationship?
If you've, done some work, perhaps been in therapy yourself, and you feel like you're, you've made some progress on whatever, your own contributions might be to the estrangement, I think it wouldn't be, you could potentially reach out. One of my collaborators works with parents who are estranged from their adult children, and there's a whole process, that he guides them through in order to get to those kinds of points. But if you do choose to reach out, I think you have to accept the fact that they may not respond, and that that's okay. And that you may have to wait again, and maybe wait until next year and reach out again, that you don't have the expectation that you're going to get a positive response. And the other thing I've been thinking about a lot too is that for estrangements where it's not a total cutoff, times that folks are more likely to see each other or run into each other at a family party or something like that would be around the holidays. And I would just caution folks to really be careful and to really moderate their expectations, because, you could certainly, with all the images of happy families out there, think that, oh, well, if I reach out or if we see each other, maybe everything will be great and I'll bygones will be bygones and everything in the past will be forgotten. But I think that's highly unlikely to happen. And what's more likely to happen is that, you get into an argument about, issues that still haven't, been resolved. So I would say just proceed with caution. I don't think it's a bad idea to reach out if you feel like you're in a place where you can do that. But I wouldn't expect, I would really, really try to moderate one's expectations for where that might go. And if you don't get a response, but you're continuing to, work on yourself and so forth, maybe try again after another period of time has passed.
There are lots of links in the article to resources for people who are grappling with family estrangement. I'm local for you in Columbus, Cynthia Rozzi on NBC4i.com.